joyful to be here with you today and talk with you about honesty. When I was little, I was very sneaky. I don't know where I got that from. I just was. And I was really good at it because I think I was known as a child that was good and making good choices, but I was really sneaky. I can remember being 4 or 5 and going to the store with my mom, grocery store, and there was this big pile of those little boxes of raisins, individual boxes, and I really wanted one, and my mom wouldn't let me have one. And so when she wasn't watching, I took it and I tucked it in the waistband of my pants and covered it with my shirt. When we got to the checkout counter, it's not like the days when we are now, and it was much more comfortable. And Mom, I'm gonna go wait in the car, and she was fine with that. So I went to wait in the car and ate my raisins as fast as I could before she came to the car. Didn't quite finish, and as she came to the car, she saw me chewing, and she asked what I was chewing. Well, then I had to make up another lie because I couldn't tell her what I was chewing. So I said I was chewing a piece of gum. And I think she suspected, because then she wanted to know where I got the gum, and I had to tell another lie. And pretty soon she figured out what I had done and made me go back inside and tell the clerk what I had done and that I'd taken the raisins. And that was just the beginning. I remember sneakily taking some of my sister's tips from jars on the nightstand. I don't know why I thought that was okay. I know it didn't feel right inside, and I kind of call it the web of lies, because you have to say another one and another one to cover up what you've done. And I know it didn't feel right. And I've shared these stories with my children and grandchildren a lot because I wanted to help them know to not make those choices, of course, and to choose to be honest. One of the experiences I had as a teenager really taught me to be honest, and I kind of probably see this as a time that really taught me to always tell the truth. That there was a day, when I was asked out on a date by 2 young men. They were both really good friends of mine. We were all good friends together. I'm going to use the names John and Mark. And Mark called first and asked me to go out on a date that night, and I was so excited and happy to go, and said yes and set a time for him to pick me up. And a little while later, John called to ask me out, and I didn't want to hurt John's feelings. And I made an excuse and said I had too much homework to do and that I couldn't go out. Now, that is kind of a white lie, I guess. I just didn't want to hurt his feelings. I didn't want him to feel, bad. So I'm going about my day, getting ready for the date, and the door knocks a little bit early, and I'm confused. I hurry to the door, and it's not Mark, it's John, trying to convince me to still go out with him that night, that I could do my homework later. And I had to get him out of there. And I was making excuses and sticking my story, and nope, I got to get my homework done, and you got to go. I can't go out tonight. And got him out and on his way. Well, when Mark came to pick me up, not too much later, but he was just a little bit late. He came to pick me up and he said, I hope you don't mind. John just stopped by and I invited him to go to the movies with us. Now that was one of the roughest nights, because my friendship with my friend John was never quite the same. And what I had done to John that night in hurting his feelings and not telling him the truth stuck with me my whole adult life. And I thought about that experience hundreds of times. Well, why didn't I just tell the truth and the hurt that I caused somebody? I thought about that so many times, and I'm talking 30 years, people. And I had tried to apologize through a letter, just never heard back from John. And I then got a phone call from John's sister, and it said that he was going to be passing soon, and that he couldn't speak, but she wanted me to know that he was going soon. And I told her he wouldn't want to talk to me anyway. And she said, "What?" And I kind of told her the story real quickly, and she said, "Well, okay." And then a couple of days later, she left a message on my phone, and I must have listened to that message many, many times over and over again. She said, "Hey, Shalene, I mentioned to John that you thought he wouldn't want to hear from you." And he wrote out his response because he couldn't talk. And he wrote, "I can't imagine why Shalene would say that. I only have wonderful memories of Shalene." So many lessons learned. Honesty is always the best. And sometimes we let things bother us more than they need to. Talking them out is always a great idea. Trying to, I use the word repent, but be sorry for what you did. I ended up paying my sister back some money at some point and telling her I took her coins. Tried hard to apologize to my friend John at some point. When I do things wrong, I try to say I'm sorry and move forward. But the lessons that I learned from that experience have made me a better person. They've made me make better choices throughout my life. So thanks for letting me share this with you today. We each get to choose how we respond, act, and feel. Wouldn't it be great if we all chose joy?